So in D.C., waiting for a major decision on the Keystone Pipeline, the Democrat-led Senate preparing to move forward now on a plan that would expand the pipeline from Canada all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Republicans questioning why they're so interested in it now when they've had 8 bills sitting on their desk.
President Obama will veto anything sent to his desk that includes the words Keystone and/or pipeline. He's already made that very clear. And his hard-nosed attitude stays in place over the issue of immigration reform. He will shove down the throats of the American people regardless of any poll or any members of Congress who get in his way. So let's pick these apart and decide where the opponents go from here and why one is so important in the first place. Let's welcome back to MidPoint. Retired Army Colonel and Senate candidate from Louisiana, Rob Maness joins us. Colonel, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
Colonel, let's go ahead and start first of all with this scramble for the 60th vote on Keystone right now. And Mary Landrieu, your former opponent, is the one right now being called the scrambler. Would you agree with those who call it little more than a pathetic attempt just to save a job that she's been sent home from?
Oh, it's absolutely absolutely a pathetic attempt to try to save her job. But she won't be coming home to Louisiana. She'll be going home to that mansion in Washington, D.C., where I'm sure she'll pick up a lobbyist job once she's thrown out of office by the people of Louisiana.
Have the people of Louisiana looked at her? And again, the last poll I saw, so she was trailing badly in this runoff election right now. Do they see her as just a strict opportunist at this point?
Oh, I believe so. We have seen all around the state the negative reaction to her attempts to try to finally get the Keystone Pipeline approved. Could have been brought up many times over the last 6 years, but she refused to do it in spite of her so-called clout. And we're very disappointed in the last 6 years, but pleasantly, we are pleasantly surprised to see that it's finally come up for a vote. And if it's got to be done because of politics, then so be it. But we look forward to it being approved.
All right, now we all know that the Keystone Pipeline is a national discussion here. We also know that it's very important specifically to your area and to Louisiana. But from a national standpoint, there are many people who would ask, why is this pipeline so important when it only creates 50 or 60 full-time jobs, when none of the oil that is pumped through it will actually go into American automobiles, and at the end of the day, it has very little to do with, and these are the critics talking right now, it has very little to do with anything about saving money or cutting down on the cost of gas.
It has everything to do with America's future energy independence as we move away from the Middle Eastern part of the world and look inward towards America and North America from a fossil fuels perspective. And we're talking tens of thousands of jobs. While many of them will be construction jobs, over half of those construction jobs will be at least 2-year jobs. And then the sustainable long-term jobs that the impact on the oil and gas industry, especially here in our state in Louisiana, is going to be a positive perspective.
Well, let me ask you a question about the energy independence. You've said that, and so have many other people. How does it become a part of our energy independence when none of the oil is being used here in America?
Well, that oil will flow out of the United States of America in partnership with our Canadian allies, and Americans will take part in that, and the oil and gas companies that are American oil and gas companies will use those opportunities to create more profits and create more long-term sustainable jobs, and that's good for the United States of America and good for our energy.
Well, again, I'm just looking to make sure that I understand you completely, and a lot of these people who talk about this. The oil is not used here in America, so then how does it then spin back around to helping America? What's that direct connection?
It creates that market connection between the United States and Canada and the rest of the oil and gas users throughout the world. It reduces dependence on foreign oil, such as from the Saudi Arabians and the Middle Eastern parts of the world, which, as you well know, we have spent large amounts of treasure and American blood to try to protect that.
But we are now the greatest oil producer in the world. I believe we just passed that last week. So haven't we pretty much gone past needing a 38-inch pipeline from Canada to help us?
Well, we continue to build on that independence, and we need to move that even further than we've already accomplished.
All right. I will have to say that there are still a lot of people going to ask a lot of questions about this. By the way, just 15 seconds here before we take a break. How many of those permanent jobs are going to be in Louisiana, estimated?
We estimated that there was going to be about 4,000 permanent jobs that would be created in some one way or another through the Keystone Pipeline.
Permanent jobs, just from, but not on the pipeline, but directly connectable to the pipeline as an industry, correct?
To the pipeline, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, please stand by. Short break, and we return with more from Colonel Rob Maness. We spin to the latest from the Middle East and the possibility we're actually making a small dent in the ISIS machine. And at 22 minutes after the hour, a possible breakthrough in the prevention of heart attacks. That and so much more coming up right here on MidPoint, where we question everything.